it's looking like Beyonce is about to go country. So y'all will have to let me know what you think. Is Beyonce going country? Is she leaving her current genre and moving over to country music? Is she about to take over? I don't know. We're going to see here in a second, because a lot of interesting things have happened, and most specifically since the Grammys and also the Super Bowl, because Beyonce looked like she's starting to take a little bit of a pivot. She's creating some new types of music, not new music for her, but it looks like she's actually about to double down on creating a new type of music. And I'm going to tell you guys why I think this is a very interesting and brilliant move, and maybe point out some of the things that I'm seeing it looks like she is going to be doing moving forward. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. First of all, most recently at the during the Super Bowl, Beyonce made it clear that she's working on some new music and she's working on a new album. Now, she most recently released 2 country songs, or songs that would be considered in the country genre. The first one is Texas Hold'em, and then the second one is 16 Carriages. Now, y'all will have to let me know what you think about the new songs in the comments. Let me know if you think they're good, if you think they're bad. Let me know if you think they're country, or if maybe they're considered something more like pop. I listened to both of these songs. Again, we know Beyonce has a lot of talent, and she's a great vocalist. Texas Hold'em is definitely a country song in my opinion, and 16 Carriages, I mean, I think it's a borderline, but it sounds like a country song. Either way, really good song, really good music. Beyonce's talented, and I think she did really well with these. I don't know personally that I would listen to them, just because it's a different sound for her, but it's going to be interesting once we go into a little more into this topic to see what she's doing with it, because if you listen to these songs, you can hear that Beyonce is really putting her own spin on this genre and this type of music. So either way, let's go ahead and get into the first video I want y'all to check out. So a lot of y'all may not know, especially if you haven't listened to Lemonade, but this is not Beyonce's first country type song. She released a song before that was a more of a country sounding song called Daddy Lessons, and y'all are going to hear a little bit of a snippet during this video. But Good Morning America actually addressed kind of what's going on with Beyonce, the new role and the new moves that she's making, and just kind of gave some background about her music and how she's continued to evolve. So check this one out from Good Morning America.
But Beyonce herself, no stranger to the genre. The biographical Daddy Lessons from her groundbreaking Lemonade was a standout.
Everybody get up on your feet.
Performing the tune with the Chicks on country music's biggest night in 2016.
I think that's so funny they call them the Chicks too, because a lot of y'all know what they used to be called. They used to be called the Dixie Chicks, but they changed their names, which is actually something we're gonna get into a little bit later. Speaking of Dixie, but either way, let's keep it going.
So the mere fact that Beyonce is releasing music, and the mere fact that she's doing it country, it is now going to give society as a whole the opportunity to have social discourse on country music. And so I think from that aspect, by her creating a global conversation, we will have more eyeballs on country music, and it will be really great.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because I'm loving that Beyonce is making this move, not only because there are so many artists in the past who have done similar things to where they branched out to either widen their fan base or just to get more notoriety or to get their different type of music heard by more people, but there's been other artists, and y'all know specifically which one I'm talking about, has maybe started out in one genre in country or pop and then moved over to another genre, and then it's just made their fan base grow even more. So if you listen to this music, personally, I think and can see how it has a lot of potential to not only give Beyonce a broader reach, but to also change country as we know it, because I mean, her sound and the way she sings these songs is just so unique from anything that I've heard. So anyway,
And fans are already coming to the defense of Beyoncé after one country station initially wouldn't play her new songs. The Beehive rallied, and now that station has reversed course. Renaissance Act 2 drops March 29th.
Yeah, so something happened with the radio station playing her song. We're going to get into the story a little bit, but a couple of people called into the radio station or sent in requests for one of the Beyoncé songs. We're going to talk about it a little bit later, but the radio station refused to play the song. They said, we're a country radio station and we don't play Beyoncé. But there's a reason they said that, and we're going to get into it here in a second, but let's finish.
And I know you are a fan.
You remember that I DJ'd country music back in the day in the 1980s, and I remember people would kind of like, you're DJing country music? It was,
yeah, I didn't know Robin DJ, but whatever.
Absolutely.
Beyonce's going to just bring more into the tent.
Exactly. Looking forward to
it. Well, hey there, Jimmy.
All right, so that's Good Morning America talking about it. Now we're going to move into this story that you guys may have not heard of, which kind of surrounds Beyonce's taking this new role or this new move into country music. So this is on CBS News, and they're interviewing a gentleman who's kind of a country music historian. He's going to talk a little bit about country music, where it started, some of the different things that are going on with country music, and why this is an interesting and great move for Beyonce. So let's go ahead and run this back real quick.
Beyonce released 2 new country-themed singles. But when a fan asked an Oklahoma country radio station to play one of the songs, called Texas Hold'em, Tuesday morning, he says his request was denied. Later that afternoon, the station reversed course and began playing the song. The station's general manager tells CBS News they did not have knowledge of the song at the time of the request, and the record label hadn't provided it to their station. Still, the initial denial to play Beyoncé has raised questions among fans and the entertainment industry about women and Black people's place in country music.
Yeah, that's not good. So basically what happened is, and this is going to get missed, obviously, because, you know, Beyonce, not only is she a polarizing and talented artist, but because she's a Black woman in America. And there's just been a lot of tension between Black artists and country music in general. So this is going to be blown up into a big story. Now, the radio station's defense, at the time that the song was being requested, the songs weren't actually released. So as you heard in this, the radio station hadn't received knowledge of the song being released. The song hadn't been released yet, and the record label hadn't sent them the information or given them access to play the song on the radio. So I think it's interesting, though, because a lot of that's going to be missed in this conversation because of the things that I mentioned a little bit earlier. But I think it's a good thing that it happened, because it kind of gets the conversation started, because, you know, especially with all of the drama that went on with the Grammys, as Beyonce continues to release more of this type of music and possibly a country music album, she's going to be met with a lot of adversity. And this gentleman, who is kind of a historian in country music, is going to talk a little bit about that in a second.
More on this, let's bring in music journalist and author Robert Orman. Robert, I know you have covered country music for decades. You have literally written books on this topic. So tell us, first of all, what makes something...
9 of them.
This guy's written 9 books on country music. Jeez. I didn't know it was that deep. So anyway, he's going to give a little bit of introduction, but I want to skip forward into the video, because he starts to talk a little bit more about the history of country music, kind of why he's seeing a big change and a big push in what country music is now, and why what Beyonce is doing is just a great move for country music and music in general. So let me skip forward to the 2-minute mark. All right, y'all check this out.
So against that backdrop then, Robert, where have Black and minority women specifically fit into quote unquote country music as the art form has sort of evolved?
What my take on this is basically what the industry, the Nashville industry, continually keeps putting forward: women and Black artists. The country radio industry has continuously rejected them. Radio.
Ooh, listen to that. Now, guys, this is an important point, and I don't want y'all to miss this. So what he's saying is, A lot of y'all are mentioning in the comments and in the chat, oh, Lil Nas X, he kind of did it similar. You've got Darius Rucker, you've got even Dax, who is making some country music. And yeah, the music's doing well and it's being really successful and it's received by the fan base. But the industry itself is just saying, nah, we're not supporting this. And this is kind of the exact same thing that's happening with Beyonce with the Grammys. She's saying, all right, so y'all aren't going to give me the credit for my music. Maybe I'm going to have to take a different route. So let's listen to this anymore.
The radio industry has continuously rejected them.
Dang.
Radio is a kind of a different animal than the industry in Nashville. The industry in Nashville brings forward Mickey Guyton and Jimmy Allen and Kane Brown and Darius Rucker and these people. Since 2000, more than 100 Black artists have released country records. 3 of them have made it into the top 10.
Sheesh. Man, guys, y'all know me. I'm not usually the one that's going to be the race guy and be like, oh, you know, we're Black people. Oh, everybody hates us. But this is not looking good. And as he stated before, I mean, there's evidence to back it up that there's clear discrimination against these artists that are putting out music who just happen to be Black, which is interesting. But anyway.
So that gives you, in the top 10, of course, is decided by who's on the radio. Mm-hmm. And who's on the radio is overwhelmingly white and male. Even though in pop music, you saw it on the Grammy Awards, it was completely dominated by women. So
we just talked about.
You can't tell me that country consumers are that different than pop consumers, that for some reason they only take white men.
I want to ask you about Beyonce, especially at this moment, right?
It's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Radio rejecting the record before they've ever even heard it.
Yeah. So.
And the record doesn't even come out. The record doesn't come out until the 20th of this month. So there's no way for them to have the record when the fan requested it in the first place.
Yeah, and that's why I kind of said, at the radio's defense, the song wasn't released yet. They didn't know that the song was even coming into existence because they hadn't been notified. And there's a whole process that goes behind radio plays and radio releases and all of that. So this isn't really against the radio station, but it's going to be interesting to see how the conversation moves forward, because this is not the end. This is just the beginning of what's going on with this whole Beyonce country music saga. So let's check out one more video, and then I've got an article that I want to read with y'all about something that was said about Beyonce making country music, which is crazy.
Radio station in Oklahoma claiming they did not know Beyonce came out with 2 country singles. KYKC, the station in Alda, Oklahoma, received a request from listeners to play Beyonce's new single. It's called Texas Hold'em, and responded to the request by saying, quote, "We do not play Beyonce. We are a country music station," end quote. However, they're now saying the entire situation was blown out of proportion and they did not know Beyonce's new single was a country song.
All right, so again, the radio station, they didn't know. We're gonna give them a little bit of break. Shout out to the radio station. But y'all, this is about to get ugly, and I don't know. It'll be interesting to hear the stories that come out after this, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with more and more of these country radio stations. Because going back to the previous video, if you think about it, I mean, the people are going to support this. Most people, and people who listen to country music and who listen to pop music, a lot of them know and like Beyonce, whether it might not be all of her music, but there's a Beyonce song they know and they have sung along to, for the most part. So if she's going to take this route, it'll be really cool to see how she's able to change things and how to move the conversation forward, because I think she really has the potential to have a big impact on what's going to happen in country music and in music in general. And who knows, maybe she'll get her album of the year. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But guys, that is not the end of the story, because as we know, when change happens, there's a lot of adversity towards change, especially with a star of this magnitude. So you guys may have not heard this story over the weekend either, but I don't know why. Well, I know why this gentleman is speaking on this, but there was an actor, and there was an actor. His name is John Snyder, and John Snyder, he's acted in a lot of different TV shows and movies, but there's one specific TV show series that he acted in that I think has a big impact on why these statements he made are being brought to light. So we're going to read this article real quick and find out what Mr. John Snyder had to say about Beyoncé. So this article from Yahoo Entertainment says actor John Snyder branded as racist for comparing Beyoncé to a dog over the country music. Yeah, it's already starting, y'all. It's already starting. And shout out to Beyoncé, man. This is gonna be a battle, but I think it's a smart move on her part. So let's see what happened. John Snyder has garnered the ire of the Beehive after comparing Beyoncé to a dog, marking her territory for her recent venture into country music. This is bad, y'all. This is bad. And it goes a lot deeper than just him making this statement. We'll get into it in a second. Oh, man. Several fans slammed him as racist and hateful and commented that the singer does not need his permission to create country music, which is absolutely 100% true. What did John Snyder say about Beyoncé? This is one of the worst. This is one of the worst quotes I think I've heard public in a long time. During the Super Bowl, Beyoncé introduced a new track, Texas Hold'em, from her upcoming album, which is the second installment in the Renaissance trilogy. The song explores country music, representing an unusual genre shift from the Grammy award-winning singer, which is not that unusual because she's released a country song before, as we said, but I mean, it looks like she's doubling down on this, which is very unusual, but I think it's needed. While numerous members of the Beehive have embraced Beyoncé's bold venture into country music, some individuals haven't received it as warmly. One such person is actor and singer John Snyder, 63, known for his role in The Dukes of Hazzard. Someone in the chat asked a great question. Y'all said, who is John Snyder? That is a great question. We're going to stop here before we read his quote and give a little background. As you guys heard that I just read, John Snyder is an actor, and one of his most popular and famous shows that he acted in was a TV show titled The Dukes of Hazzard. So we're going to go to Wikipedia. I know this story, so I'm going to use Wikipedia. It's not always the greatest source, but we can use it in this instance. So John Snyder was born, we don't care when, is an American actor and singer. He is best known for his portrayal of Bo Duke in the American television action comedy series, The Dukes of Hazzard. If you don't know what The Dukes of Hazzard is, we're going to get into it in a second. And here's who he acted with in the 2011 TV series Smallville. Okay, yeah, we don't care about that. Alongside his acting career, Snyder has been a country singer since the early 1980s, releasing 9 albums, a greatest hits package, and 18 singles. All right, so hey, he's been making country music for a minute. He knows country music, allegedly. This includes and these titles. All right. So you guys might be wondering, what is the Dukes of Hazzard? Well, here's the story of the Dukes of Hazzard. I told you guys this goes a lot deeper than a quote, and this is why he's gonna get a lot more pushback from this. The Dukes of Hazzard is an American comedy series created by, yeah, we don't care. This was aired on CBS from January 26, 1979 to 1985, with a total of 157 episodes produced, spanning 7 seasons. It was consistently among the top rated television series in the late 1970s. So it's giving you guys a clue. Think of what was going on in the 1970s and the 1960s around that time. It's an interesting time in the world. All right. So the show is a retelling of the English folk tale Robin Hood and features two young male cousins, Bo and Luke Duke, who live in rural Georgia and are on prohibition from moonshine running. Oh my God. Prohibition prevents the Duke boys from owning guns, and the duo are armed with bows. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, so it's interesting how Wikipedia is kind of glossing over a lot of the facts behind what this show is about. Again, one of the most popular things and one of the most iconic things about this show is this car that the brothers used to drive in the Dukes of Hazzard. And guys, again, if you don't know what the Dukes of Hazzard is about, guess what flag is painted on top of the Dukes of Hazzard car? In case you were wondering, here's a picture of the Dukes of Hazzard car. Now you guys can't see it on your screen, so I'm gonna move it over a little bit so you can see it. There is the Dukes of Hazzard car. And what was the car's name? The General Lee. Oh, it just gets even worse. So now we're gonna circle all the way back to Mr. John Snyder. Hey, whatever you think about the flag, we're not gonna go into that today. But the person who portrayed one of the main characters in this show, this is the car that he was driving. This was the show he acted in. This was the time period that he was portraying his biggest role in. It's interesting that he's coming out and making statements like this. So just wanted to give you guys a little bit of background. Let's see what he said. So one such person is actor and singer John Snyder, 63, known for his role in the Dukes of Hazzard. And then this person tweeted, I don't know who it is, but it says former Dukes of Hazzard actor and country singer John Snyder and the OAN hosts are upset about Beyoncé releasing a country song, saying that leftists are trying to take over everything. And Beyoncé doing a country song is like a dog peeing on their tree. What? Guys, this is absolutely crazy. In an interview with the conservative network One American News, he likened Beyoncé to a dog attempting to leave its mark when asked about his views on musicians who explore various genres and are often associated with leftist perspectives. The lefties in the entertainment industry just won't leave any area alone, right? I guess I should read this in a country voice or in a super redneck voice, because this is sounding crazy. He says they just have to seize control over every aspect, don't they? I don't know that Beyonce's had any political statements since releasing this. I don't know where he's getting this from. Anyway, so this is the host is asking John Snyder this question. The lefties in the entertainment industry just won't leave any area alone, right? They just have to seize control over every aspect, don't they? The musician John Snyder then responded, they've got to make their mark, just like a dog in a dog walk park. You know, every dog has to mark every tree, right? So that's what's going on here. Dang. All right. So clearly now, again, once you start to have this type of talk, people don't look at things objectively. So I'm not giving John Snyder the benefit of the doubt. But if you look at the quote when he directly responded, and if you watch the video, you can hear him say this. He is not calling Beyonce a dog. He is talking about the leftists and saying they have to make their mark everywhere. But people don't care. People don't care. Beyonce was brought up in the conversation. He said, this is like them marking their territory as a dog. And people are going to say, okay, he's talking about Beyonce. So stupid, dumb move by this John Snyder dude. Nobody cares about his opinion, honestly. And we're just talking about it because he's talking about Beyonce. But this is just I can see this getting blown way up, way more, just because of his past and the role he's played previously, and the fact that he's in country music. And obviously, you know, I mean, even though he didn't directly say Beyonce, I mean, you're including her in the conversation. So fans were not happy. Social media erupted with outrage from the Beehive in response to Snyder's remarks, with many expressing their disapproval and slamming his comments as racist and hateful. It was stupid on his part. And the people, all they have to do is go to Wikipedia and see what role he played when he was acting, and it's over. Another fan said, "Didn't John Snyder just compare Beyonce to a dog?" So Beyonce singing a country song makes her a dog. WTF. And what do they mean by they have to make their mark like a dog in a dog walk park? Man. So guys, anyway, this is Beyonce just released 2 songs. She's already released a country song before, and she's already facing this much backlash. It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward. You guys will have to let me know what you think in the chat. Is this a good move for Beyonce? Is she going to change the game? Is this just the beginning of the hate and the resistance that she's going to experience from the industry? Because it's not coming from the fans right now. There might be a small group of people that are like, we don't want Beyonce singing our country music. But I mean, there are so many women, especially the women. I want to point out, especially the women, the white women, black women, they rock with Beyonce. They love her music. And the majority of the fan bases are going to be willing to accept Beyonce as a country artist, and especially because she's so talented. So you guys let me know in the comments what you think about that. Hey, congratulations to Beyonce. I'm looking forward to hearing her music and giving some feedback, because this is just the beginning of the journey.